At this point, you might be asking yourself, why would we even want to have an unshareable flyweight class? Isn't that the whole point of creating shareable state? The answer is a fundamentally resounding yes, but also a gray area no. The flyweight pattern makes intrinsic state sharing possible, but it doesn't technically enforce it. There are rare cases where you'll want a concrete flyweight class to be able to act on extrinsic state while also having unshareable intrinsic state. Now this doesn't help with memory usage, but it does allow you to handle edge cases while keeping everything inside the flyweight pattern. Now, this does sound a bit wonky, I know, so let's look at implementing a simple example into our drink hierarchy by creating a giveaway flyweight object. Let's go back into drinks, and underneath our banana smoothie, let's add in a comment here just to make sure we know this is our unshared concrete flyweight. And we'll set up a new public class called drink giveaway. And this is going to be implementing our drink flyweight. I'm going to add a comment here and we'll say all state. Let's start with the name. We'll say public string name. It's a get property, and for now we'll just return an empty string. Let's add another comment. We'll say extrinsic state, and this is going to be our serve method. Takes in a size, and we'll just have ourselves a console.writeLine for the moment. Now, if you're wondering why I added the comment as all state rather than intrinsic state, the answer is in the object itself, unshared concrete classes. Since we're not going to be sharing this giveaway drink, we can store all of its state, including its extrinsic values. This is more akin to normal object creation, but with the added benefit of being treated like a flyweight object. Let's continue to flesh this out so we can get our heads wrapped around it a bit better. The drink giveaway is going to be a randomly selected drink, so we'll need an array of eligible drinks to choose from. So I'm going to say private. This is going to be just an array of flyweights. I'm going to call this eligible drinks. And we'll just initialize the array. And inside it, well, we only have two possible drinks, so we'll say new espresso and new banana smoothie. Perfect. Now we're also going to want a randomly selected drink. This is going to be private as well, so we'll say private, I drink flyweight, and we'll call this our random drink. Now we can also update our public name getter, and we can always return our random drink's name property. And finally, since our intrinsic state isn't going to be shared, we can save the size as well in this case, and this case only. So we'll have a private string variable called _size to store that when we get to it. Now in the class constructor, let's set that up, and we'll say public drink giveaway, not factory. And in here, we're just going to create a random index. So we'll say random. We'll use the next function, and we want it to be between 0 and 2. So we only have 2 drinks to choose from. Now our random drink can be randomly pulled from our eligible cache at our random index. Creating this randomizer really has nothing to do with the flyweight pattern, so if you don't know how to use the random class or the next method, I'd encourage you to look at the documentation. Now we can update the serve method, and we can set our private size variable to the size variable passed in. And let's see, we'll say free giveaway in our first console writeLine. And for the second one, let's see, what do we want? Well, let's do it in the same vein as our regular drink factory list drinks. Let's print out the size, the drink name, which can be gotten from randomDrink.name, and we'll just say this is coming up. Now all we need to do is return a new instance of a giveaway drink whenever it's queried, and as it's unshared, it won't go through the factory method we wrote earlier. All we need to do is go in and create a new method. We'll call this public. And this is going to return a flyweight object because our unshared concrete classes are still implementing it. And we'll call this create giveaway. All we need to do here is return a new instance of our drink giveaway. It's that simple. I want to emphasize again that having an unshared concrete class won't be a must-have in most scenarios. However, if you do use one, you might consider removing any intrinsic get properties from your flyweight interface so that the unshared ones don't have to implement it. This is just going to keep the unshared classes a bit cleaner and your code overall a little bit more readable. Now let's test our giveaway in our program class, and I'm going to comment out all our drink creation logic because that'll make our output a little bit messy. I am going to keep the drink factory though instantiated because we will need that. Now the first thing I'm going to do is create an array of sizes just so that we can test this out a little easier. I'll say sizes is a new string array, and the values are going to be small, medium, and large. Now for each size in our array, so we'll say var size in sizes, we're going to create a new giveaway object. And we're going to use the drink factory to do that by saying drink factory create giveaway, and by setting each giveaway's size with the serve method. If we give this a run now, we'll see 3 randomly generated drinks, each one a new unshared instance with the associated sizes served up. Now it looks like all of our drinks came out espresso as the randomizer picked them, but if you keep running this over and over, you'll get different drinks each time. Since each of these is a separate object, storing their extrinsic state isn't an issue, and they behave like any other reference object. To round out the course, we'll talk about the most common use cases and applications of the flyweight pattern, as well as some of its consequences and drawbacks in the next clip.